Awesome. Well, hi everybody. Thank you again for joining us today. I'm going to say my usual good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening. We have people from all around the world join us in these sessions. My name is Nick Zarowski, and I'm a senior manager for policy and advocacy with the Alliance for Peacebuilding. Alliance for Peacebuilding is the host of the Digital Peacebuilding Community of Practice. We are a community of practice that gathers about once every other month to host demos of innovative digital peace building tools, as well as host conversations on key digital peace building priorities and issues. So I'm so excited for today's session featuring LeRon Shults of CulturePulse. And this conversation is going to, excuse me, I'm just pulling up the description now, focus on the use of AI twins to simulate key scenarios and situations in which we can see how societies respond to stressors or situations and see how digital peace building can be built, see how trust can be built, or how we can respond to perhaps societal stressors. So we're going to hear from LeRon Shults, who's the co-founder and chief research officer at CulturePulse. And CulturePulse has been using multi-agent AI or MAAI systems or digital twins. And these are psychological profiles that are generated from text data that reflect real-world individuals and groups. And CulturePulse is using these to improve understanding of what works to prevent conflict and build trust in fragile contexts. So this technology has been used for peace-building purposes all around the world, including in Northern Ireland, Israel-Palestine, South Sudan, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and others. So just a bit about LeRon. He's a professor at the Institute for Global Development and Planning at the University of Agder. He's also a founding member of the Center for Artificial Intelligence Research at the University of Agder and scientific director of the North Center for Modeling Social Systems in Kristiansand, Norway. LeRon has doctorates in educational psychology from Walden and philosophy of religion from Princeton. He's published 19 books. That's a very, very high number of books, and 150 academic articles and book chapters on a wide range of topics such as social simulation, cognitive science, and metaphysics. LeRon loves long philosophical discussions and ice bathing, but not necessarily at the same time. Thanks, LeRon. I appreciated that joke. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to go and hand it over to LeRon. LeRon's going to speak for about 15 to 20 minutes, and we will devote the rest of the time to Q&A from all of you. But before I hand it over, I would just encourage everybody to introduce yourself in the chat, please. Let us know who you are, your affiliation, and where you are tuning in from. All right, LeRon, over to you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Nick, for that kind introduction and for the opportunity to present today. I've been looking forward to this, and a lot of great institutions and excellent work in peace building represented here. Exciting to be able to show you what we've been up to. And actually, it's good timing too, because we've just created a second version of our platforms, which is called Aries, analysis of different conflicts, basically, in cooperation in every country on the planet. We just came up with the second version, and so I'll be able to show you some of the newest features. But before I turn to the platform, the the easiest way to understand what I'm about to show you is to describe the two basic things that we try to do at Culture Pulse. The first is we have a type of AI that's not like machine learning. Machine learning, ChatGPT and so forth, is trained on lots of past data. So it takes all that past data, including the biases that are included in it, and then predicts based on what happened in the past, only after it's trained. Our data doesn't have to be trained. It learns more the way the human mind learns. It has 93 different dimensions, psychological, cultural factors, human-like dimensions, things like moral concerns, uh, attitudes toward authority, toward harm, issues related to finance, health, gender, a total of 93. And it's able to read text, huge amounts of text, and to extract from it those 93 dimensions, which ones are most important and which ones are driving the conversation within the text or the news media or the social media within a particular country or region. So that's the first thing we do, and you'll see the result of that tool. The second thing we do that's unique is we take that and other data and create, as Nick said, multi-agent artificial intelligence models. So these are digital twins, so like you've heard of digital twins of a flight simulator or a factory. Well, these are digital twins of an entire population. So we've created models of entire countries, and each agent within these models has these dimensions that I've described to you. And they're in networks, so they're interacting with each other in ways that are closer to the way the evolved defaults of the way humans interact. So they're in specific relationships and responding to each other. So once you have that model, such a model, a digital twin, then you can run tests to analyze what's driving what in the population, what concerns or anxieties are pushing toward peace or conflict. And you're able to predict out within a couple of weeks, at least in some cases, months and even years, but with more accuracy. Within at least 2 weeks, whether conflict or cooperation is likely to go up and why, and what you can do about it. And then also test policies. So once the digital twin is in place, you can change the parameters or alter things in the environment or the population, have new immigrants from a different culture come in, for example, and see how that alters the digital twin. So basically, you can practice implementing your strategy for peace building before you do it in the real world and see the likely outcomes under different scenarios. So that's the big picture. Let me share Aries and give you a hint, a tip of how it looks. Can everybody see that? Can
Yes, I
you
can
see
see.
Aries? Yes. Okay. All right. Good. So as I said, we do all the countries, and I thought I would do today. I would do Armenia because my co-founder was just in Armenia last week. We're developing a big twin there for the tech ministry. So if you look over here first, here on the right, these three things are part of our freemium. So if anybody on the call or not on the call can sign up for free to get the first three things that I'm going to tell you about. So if you just go to aries.culturepulse.ai, you can sign up and get any three countries. You can get daily updates, which will provide you with summary of the news and the following three things I'm going to describe. I want to go over these three quickly because if you're interested, you can play with them for free. So the first over here, you get a summary of all the news. We use the Google GDAL database and other databases to extract the news about that country and within that country and give a quick summary of what's going on related to conflict and cooperation. Then the simple conflict intensity score, the tone, so sentiment analysis, the intensity of volume, that's how many or how much of the percentage of the world news is about this country, and the average Goldstein score. So that's how violent the things are going on in the country. So again, you can get that for free for three countries. News analytics. This gives you the top 20 countries who are talking about Armenia, whether it's negative or positive. You can see the flow of information about Armenia, in which language it's appearing. So this can be interesting. Just yesterday, the day before, uh, we found Russia publishing quite a bit in Armenian and in Azerbaijani in Georgia. So they're not doing it today, but that's a clear sign of disinformation. And this can be updated every 15 minutes. So you can monitor the country you're interested in. You can also search the news for specific topics or a domain, so like CNN.com or something, the country you're interested in, or the language or the time. And then it gives you a summary to analyze. So we give all these things free. Um, the third thing gives you a tip, a hint at the power of the 93 dimensions. So this tells you today which of those 93 dimensions are most dominating the conversation, the minds of Armenians and people's attitudes about Armenia. So among the 93, in the social dimension, the top concern is inclusivity. So this has to do with the way people want to include diversity within population. You can click on any of these to see the definition. Um, in terms of morality. Authority virtue, that means the evolved tendency to uh, believe that it's moral to show respect to the authorities in the hierarchy. Another moral dimension is liberty. This is it's important to let people be free and do what they want to within limits. A group, that's you should value your in-group and so forth. So this tells you what's driving the conversation in Armenia related to morality, personal interest, work, achievements. So work and achievements are closely related. Religiosity comes in third. Health is the top biology dimension. So this again, this part is free to give people a taste of what's behind the culture pulse analysis. These four are within the paid version of the tool, so I'll spend a little bit more time on those. The algorithms behind this tell you what is driving conflict and what is driving cooperation in Armenia. And this gives you about a 2-week prediction. So it's saying within the next 2 weeks, here are the factors that are most likely to influence conflict or cooperation. So I had no idea what would pop up. Purity, virtue, that's a morality concern. Um, it has to do with the sense of disgust. Often people see outgroup members as disgusting. Sometimes it has to do with particular behaviors that, like cleanliness, or sometimes in some cultures, homosexuality and issues like that. So that tells you that what's driving conflict has to do with purity issues in Armenia, also anxiety about work and home. What's driving cooperation? Negatively, concern about home. You can see the connection there. Home is negatively influencing cooperation, which means draining cooperation. Negative sentiment, a focus on the past. So too much obsession with history or what's happened in recent months can have a negative influence on cooperation. This text here is automatically generated and gives you concrete examples of how moral purity virtue might be playing out in Armenia, possible effects, an example. Um, yeah, I'm running out of time already. We can come back if people have questions. Conflict profiling. This this basically is going to give you 5 different histograms of events in the news that have been either driving conflict, driving moves toward conflict, driving cooperation, or moves toward cooperation, or defensive events. So those are more war related. So you can click over here and see over time how increase in police alert status went up and down, um, rejecting request or demand for material aid, and so forth. So this gives people who are expert or interested in the country a sense of how those concerns have gone up and down, and how they've been driving conflict to cooperation. Before I go forward, let me go back to the overview briefly, just to say you can go back to any point in the past and click to get the summary of that day to see what was going on up or down and so forth. All right, so conflict profiling. Let me do, yeah, digital twin quickly. So digital twins, we have 5 options. These are those more complex social digital twins I described above that we developed. In each of these was developed with the United Nations in different conflict zones. And then you can say, in the for polarization and conflict, what's going on? How is that? What does that model tell us about what's going on in Armenia today? So it's saying, it explains what action threshold group is. We can come back to that. And it says this is how and why the polarization and conflict are being driven up or down in Armenia in these are the most recent days. Finally, message resonance. So if you imagine behind the screen here, it is a digital twin of Armenia, and then you can put any text or any website here. I'm just going to put over the Oslo Accords, which I keep handy to give examples. So basically, uh, that quickly, the algorithm said, if you were to take the Oslo Accords, which of course are decades old, and propose them or introduce them in Armenia today, how well would that message resonate with the Armenian population? Here it lists the 93 dimensions that you should pay attention to. In terms of morality, you see the up there is saying this the Oslo Accords has less emphasis on fairness than the Armenian population is concerned about. So it's saying you should bump up your text. So you can imagine what our users do. The UN, for example, will take a policy analysis or a social media text that they want to produce or some kind of plan that they have they want to present to the government. They put the document in and it tells them where and how it's going to resonate and whether they should put more or less of particular concepts, issues, human concerns in the text. And then you can go back and forth until you have the text in an optimal way that you're ready to present it. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I tried to stay at 15 minutes. We can come back to this if there are questions, but I wanted to try to keep it nice and short, Nick.